Ben Shapiro has made a big deal about the fact that he views himself as actual MAGA, whereas Tucker Carlson, he's not MAGA, and Nick Fuentes, he's not MAGA, and all these people who disagree with me are not MAGA, but I am MAGA. So, I mean, pay very close attention. What he's saying here is, I actually agree with Trump. Trump bombed Iran already. I like that. You didn't, right? Trump is a warmonger. I like that. You don't. So who's really MAGA? I'm with Trump. You're not. This was the argument. Well, guess what? Now, he's going to chastise and berate J.D. Vance because J.D. Vance indicated, yeah, we should actually, we really need to force Iran back to the table to make some sort of a deal. And in Ben Shapiro's world, that is unacceptable. It's regime change or shut the fuck up. It's more war or shut the fuck up. So now, Mr. I'm MAGA, I'm always with the regime. Now, how dare you say you don't want to do more war? What is wrong with you? Do more war. Watch, here we go.
Vice President J.D. Vance suggested that the smartest thing for the Iranians to do is for them to have a real negotiation with the United States about their nuclear program. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That's nonsense. That's just crap. That's silly. I like the vice president, but that's nonsense.
By the way, this is tough talk for Benjamin. That is nonsense. That is crap. That's just silly. You're being a silly goose, Mr. Vice President. You're being a silly goose. Jesus, man. But this actually is him being pissed off. Like, he's actually pissed off that J.D. Vance didn't say, let's immediately do war and take out everybody in the regime and let's bomb and let's nuke them. Jesus Christ.
The notion that the Iranians could make any guarantee to the United States that would now be sufficient to quiet our concerns about the revival of a nuclear program is silly talk. It is undermining, by the way, the protesters who are in the streets. If the suggestion is that if the mullahs say pretty words, then the United States will withdraw its support for the protesters and watch them get mowed down by the thousands, that is a problem.
Why is that a problem? Seriously, why? We are the ones that pulled out of the deal. They abided by the deal completely every step of the way. We're the ones that illegally pulled out of the deal. We did it. They didn't break the deal. We broke the deal. And then Biden said, I'm going to get back in it. Biden got into office and didn't get back in the deal. Right? So what are you talking about? He's like, how can we trust? How can we trust it? How can they trust us? How can they trust us? If we were to go to them and say, we're going to get back in the deal, at this point, I would understand if I'm them. I go, whoa, I don't believe you. What type of trick do you have up your sleeve? By the way, we lied to them and said we're going to do diplomacy and have a meeting with Qasem Soleimani, one of their top commanders who was fighting ISIS. This is in Trump's first term. And what did Trump do? He lured this guy somewhere with the promise of diplomacy and then murdered him. They blew him up. So this thing of, you can't trust them. You can't trust us. You can't trust us. God, this guy, he's literally never met a war he didn't like. He never met a war he didn't like. And it's kind of crazy how he actually is on the exact same page as Netanyahu every single time. And it's also kind of crazy that he was one of the people who was screaming from the rooftops, why are we even talking about Jeffrey Epstein, bro? What does it matter about Jeffrey Epstein, bro? What's the big deal about Jeffrey Epstein, bro? Move on. I don't know why you guys are so obsessed with this. Don't be silly. There's nothing to see there. It's like, wait a second. Why? Why, Ben? Why are you saying that? Because what we now know is he was Mossad. He was intelligence. He may have been a freelancer where he didn't just work with Mossad. He also worked with the KGB and the CIA and elsewhere. But we now know there were deep connections to intelligence. We now know his houses were bugged with video cameras, and Trump did things with underage girls at those houses. So there's videotapes on the president. He can be extorted. He can be blackmailed. He can be coerced into doing anything that Netanyahu wants. And Ben Shapiro said, don't look into Epstein things. Don't look. Why?
Again, none of this is a call for hundreds of thousands of troops on the ground in Iran. Again, no one is talking about Iraq. The Iraq War syndrome, as I discussed last week, is broken. No one wants a gigantic American occupation of Iran. No one. That's silly talk. The question is, what options are on the table?
I can't stand this guy. He's such a fucking weasel. He's such a weasel. You know how MAGA pretended to be anti-war for 17 seconds? Well, Ben Shapiro also kind of hopped on that bandwagon and pretended to be anti-war. But now what he says is, no. When I said I was anti-war, what I meant was we can still do drone strikes and we can still do bombing raids and we can still carpet bomb places. But go in and out real quick, right? All I mean is I don't want to occupy a country with hundreds of thousands of people and stay there for decades. That's all I mean when I say I'm anti-war. And that's exactly what he's doing here. But he did say, the Iraq syndrome has broken. And the point he made on his previous show about that is, well, thank God Trump broke the Iraq syndrome where everything gets compared to Iraq and we can't do any military actions. Trump did an amazingly successful military action in Venezuela. What the fuck are you talking about? Fly the mission accomplished banner, George W. Bush. What are you talking about? You replaced the Maduro regime with the Maduro regime, and now you have roving gangs of Venezuelan militias that are kidnapping Americans. Now you have no cooperation from the Venezuelan government. Now you have even the oil companies are going, I don't want to go in there right now because there's no political stability. If we invest billions of dollars to upgrade the infrastructure. What happens if we can't keep getting the oil? So you got all these issues around it. But again, his idea is, thank God Trump made it so war is cool again. But he's got to hide behind, oh, no, it's different this time because what I mean is quick war. Well, Ben, they also told us the Iraq war would be a quick war. And then there's the other issue of like, it's just wrong in principle to illegally and offensively invade a country that didn't attack us and kidnap their sovereign leader. If anybody did that to us, we would drop fucking nukes. But we get to do that to them and you tell them to shut the fuck up about it. Okay? It's stupid. It is dumb.
That would protect the protesters, weaken the regime, and allow the Iranian people to take the situation into their own hands. And obviously, there's a risk-reward calculation here that has to be made by the president of the United States. Tehran is suggesting that it will consider targeting U.S. military facilities as well as Israel if it detects signs of an impending attack. Now, realistically speaking, if Iran were to strike back, let's say that the United States were to fly some F-16s into Iran, take out some IRGC facilities, and then Iran were to fire a bunch of missiles at Qatari air bases, Al Udeid, for example. First of all, their retaliatory response thus far has been lackluster, shall we say.
Okay, this isn't even true. So during the 12-day war, when they were fighting already, they actually did a number on Israel. They bombed a lot of buildings in Israel. The damage was worse than what Israel thought they would receive. Iron Dome was not able to keep out their missiles. So I don't even know what he's talking about. What he's saying here is just factually wrong.
Israel completely defenestrated Iran's military in the 12-day war earlier last year. But if the Iranian government truly decides to attack American troops in the region in retaliation for a couple of pinpoint strikes,
well, they're saying, if you attack us, we're going to attack you, your bases. So it wouldn't be attacking American troops. It would be attacking American bases because they gave the warning, we're going to attack if you attack us. So we would get our troops out of there if we were to attack, knowing that they would reply. So it's not American troops. It'd be attacking American bases. And by the way, they would be justified in counter-striking however they deem fit if they got hit first.
Deterring the IRGC from murdering people in the streets, that will be the end of the regime. And it will be performed largely through air power.
The way he's so nonchalant about life and death for innocent people in other countries is grotesque to me. He doesn't know, he doesn't give a fuck about the 80-year-old woman, Rosa Gonzalez, who was just murdered when we carpet bombed Caracas the other week. Never thought about her, never will think about her. It's nothing to him. There was a 45-year-old single mother trying to save her 3 kids, and she got killed in the Caracas carpet bombing. This motherfucker wants endless carnage around the world. Now, by the way, I feel bad for the actual protesters who want Iran to be a secular democratic country and they want the economy to be fixed. I feel genuinely bad for them. But let's call a spade also. There's also Mossad infiltration, CIA infiltration. There's also agent provocateurs. And I have no doubt that the end goal here would be regime change, then a U.S. and Israeli puppet would go in there and the Iranian people would be just as oppressed, except now we would also steal their oil. That's how this would go down. That's how this would go down. So if one of the options on the menu was a secular democratic government decided on by the Iranian people, I'm all in. But that's not what's on the table. And no, everybody knows that's not what's on the table. And so it is a terrifying, terrifying situation at the moment. And all you get from Ben Shapiro is grab me those pom-poms, and I'm going to be a cheerleader for more war. And by the way, understand something. These are the only voices Trump hears now. Just so you know. This is it. He is surrounded by, Stephen Miller, for example. He's surrounded by all the Netanyahu, who just met with him the other day. It is warmonger after warmonger after warmonger. And then now that they kidnapped Maduro and they think everything's great, that went swimmingly, now they're high in their own supply and they feel like, oh shit, we can get away with anything, anywhere, against anybody. And so it's a dangerous time. That's why he's also threatening Greenland right now. That's why they're threatening Cuba and Colombia and Mexico. Trump asked for new bombing plans for Mexico to go after the cartels there. The cartels, right? So here we are. And Ben Shapiro's going, how dare you better attack, what's wrong with you, J.D. Vance? Don't even mention peace at all. Jesus Christ. Again, we were told America first was the motto. America first. Let's give $40 billion to Argentina. Let's run Venezuela. Let's run Gaza. Let's kidnap Maduro and do regime change there. Let's fucking threaten Cuba and Panama and Colombia and Greenland. Let Canada... Let's do all that, but also America first. Sorry, your healthcare premium just quadrupled, but America first. Sorry, inflation is going up and unemployment is going up, but America first. That's what, it's laughable. It's beyond laughable. And Mr. Never Met a War I Didn't Like is out here, spreading fucking demonic talking points, and it's absolutely disgusting and absolutely horrific. All right, guys, that's the show, y'all. I love y'all very much, man. You guys know the deal. Everybody do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon. You could also support the show on Patreon, tip with that thanks button on YouTube. You could also go sign up for Crystal, Kyle, and Friends on Substack. We have Pisco coming on this week. Really looking forward to that. And of course, go sub to my boy Corin's channel. It's called Corin's World. We do live Kyle and Corin episodes every Monday night. You can come hang with us. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your day, man. Peace.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.